Members, thank you for the conversation on the amendment. I'm glad that we're to the underlying bill. As some of you might remember, a couple of years ago during Long Bill, we had a conversation about the Department of Corrections denying women tampons within their facilities. We then found out that tampons were being used to barter, to trade, and to sanction. Women were having to trade sex for access to tampons. Let me talk about how humiliating that must be. I can only imagine what it must be like for a woman to be denied access to feminine hygiene products that she needs because she cannot afford to pay for them. Even further, we found out that women who soiled their clothes because they didn't have access to the right products, they were being sanctioned and were denied access to the commissary in some places. So you bleed through your clothes because you cannot afford to pay for a tampon, and then you get sanctioned and can't use the commissary to buy a tampon. That is so humiliating. But there's one more piece, because in the Department of Corrections, you were allowed to have a tampon if you could prove medical need to a male guard, typically, mostly males. That's not only humiliating for the woman, it's humiliating for the male guard who has to say, yes, I saw that she needed a tampon. So what we were doing was creating situations that were breeding this inhumane treatment of women. We passed that budget amendment without objection from this body. And the Department of Corrections has had no incidents, no issues implementing that law. Now we find out that our jails are still not complying with that process either. Now it's best practice. National jails are saying, the National Jail Association says this is a best practice, that this should not be used as a bartering tool. We heard from Chief Diggins in committee about how important this measure was. And yes, a lot of people don't want to talk about it. But I say if you don't want to say the word tampon, then you shouldn't restrict access to one. And so this bill is quite simple. It says that some women need a panty liner, some women need a pad, and yes, some women need tampons. Women's bodies are different. And we need to ensure that we are treating all women, especially those who are in our custody, with the respect and the dignity that they deserve. I ask for an aye vote on this bill. Thank you.